Hey, it's PJ Ignis from Archangel Self-Defense. I got a lot of great self-defense related questions when I asked people what they would be interested in me addressing. And so I am making a series of videos instead of just one. But a ton of questions were about legal concerns and moral concerns, ethical concerns. And so I'm going to try to answer all of that in one video, and hopefully it kind of addresses at least what I teach, and answers some questions for you. But I'm not a lawyer. I'm not qualified to give legal advice, so I just don't do that. I've read about self-defense law pretty extensively. In all 50 states, the law is completely different. There are a couple common threads. Now, the common thread is that it's reasonable to defend yourself, and a lot of times that you can't retreat when it's reasonable. So, like, if a guy says something to me in a bar and I gouge out his eye, that's not reasonable. I absolutely could have retreated from that situation. So I obviously will have some legal consequences. If someone is, attempting to rape you, then maybe gouging out his eyes would be perfectly reasonable. I think that it would. But at that point, also, are you going to sit and think, there might be some legal consequences for this if I defend myself? You just got to defend yourself. Let the legal consequences worry about themselves. Defend yourself in the moment. Ed Parker has a famous quote that he would rather be judged by 12 men than carried by 6. And basically what he's saying is, I would rather have to go to court than be dead. And I think that's what it all comes down to, is I would rather have to deal with those legal ramifications and still be alive. No, morally. Okay. I believe that we all have intrinsic value as people. I base that on a Judeo-Christian background. Whether you do or not is neither here nor there, but I want you to know where I'm coming from. I have a wife, I have a daughter, I took an oath to my wife, I took an oath before God, I signed a legal document, and then we produced a daughter, right? I have obligation to my wife and to my daughter to return home safely. So if someone's trying to take my life, they're not just violating me, they're violating my wife, they're violating my daughter. And I think that I have every reasonable right to defend my wife and my daughter, myself. So it doesn't just impact me. I am very, very close to being a pacifist, other than I believe in the right of self-defense. I think it is completely moral. I can justify it biblically. I've wrestled with all of that theologically. That would be a completely different video. But touching on the ethics, I absolutely believe that it is the right of everyone to defend themselves, and it is your natural right. John Locke wrote about that, and that inspired a lot of the writers of our Constitution. If you live in the United States, but even the idea behind that is not, I don't care what the Constitution says is my right or not my right. My rights don't come from a piece of paper. They come from God or nature or what have you. I have a natural right. If someone tries to take my life, I have a natural right to resist that. I don't want to take their life in retaliation. But if I need to defend myself, that is completely morally justifiable. Of course, I don't want to do that. I don't even want to harm anyone if I don't have to. But I will defend myself, and I think not only is it completely right to do so, but it's not right not to do so.